Hello everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to a crafting video. I'm so excited to share with you how I make these adorable crocheted pumpkins. As you can see, they're all different types of yarn, all different sizes and shapes, different stitches. They're totally customizable. Essentially, all you're going to be crocheting is a rectangle, and you can adjust that rectangle to make the different sizes and different thicknesses of your pumpkins. That's it. Super easy. I will write down in the description box the pattern that I'm showing you today, and you can adjust everything in order to make your pumpkin the most unique for you. Now, you're just going to need a few essentials. You're going to need some cinnamon sticks, okay? Some yarn needles that go with your particular yarn that you're using, some scissors, and some yarn and whatever hook, I almost said needle, whatever hook you're going to be using. I'm using just your run-of-the-mill acrylic weight 4 yarn because I feel like you'll be able to see it a little bit better on video. And then you're going to need some polyfill, fiber fill. And this is just going to be your stuffing. And this is what you can find at, any crafting store. They're going to have it for you. So I'm going to be using single crochet. So if you're a beginner, that's probably one of the first stitches you learn is a single crochet. And I'm going to be crocheting in the back loops only. So I will show you exactly what I'm talking about, but I wanted to get you informed before we start off. And then as you can see with all of the different pumpkins, the different types of yarn will create different texture. Different stitches will create different textures as well. This is a bulky yarn. I think this is Woolies that I used. And this is a slip stitch. And this looks like knit instead of crochet. I'm all about this particular pumpkin right now. I love it. So I can show you at the end how to do that stitch. But let's get started. First off, we're going to leave, 12 inches of yarn before you do your slip stitch. So leave a long tail. You want to have more than less because you can't put it back on. And then we're just going to make a slip stitch. Boom. All right. And so for this particular pattern, I'm going to chain 26, okay? And if you haven't done a chain before, it's just yarning over your hook and pulling that through your loop that's on the hook. So once again, yarn over, pull through the loop, yarn over, pull through. So that's 3. So 26 chains, and I'm going to show you why. So your chain can be adjusted to whatever height for whatever amount you want because we're using single crochet. And it's going to be the height of your pumpkin, all right? So we are going to be making a pumpkin this high. You're going to have some room for the stuffing because this is how your stitches are going to look. We're crocheting this way, but when we sew, it's going to be that way. So we're crocheting this way. It's going to look like that when we put it all together. So leave some room here for your top and for your bottom, okay? So it's going to be a flat top and a flat bottom. Hopefully this is making sense. You'll see once we start getting going how much more sense it's going to make. But essentially, your chain is going to be the height of your pumpkin. So however big you want to make your pumpkin, adjust your chain for that. However short you want to make your pumpkin, adjust your chain for that. Okay, but just make sure you leave some chains for the stuffing part to make it have a top and a bottom. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so now we're going to do the single crochet portion. And this is going to be your first row, all right? So you're going to skip this first chain that's right next to your hook, and you're going to go into the one right next to it. Yarn over, pull that through, yarn over again, pull that through both loops. So we'll do it one more time. Put your hook through the chain, yarn over, pull that yarn string through. So now you're left with 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again, pull that through. Insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull it through both loops. All right, so we're gonna do this all the way across. So you'll be left with 25 single crochets. And don't worry, I'm not going to sit here and make you watch the whole process. I just want to show you how to start out, because sometimes that can be a little tricky. And then I want to show you how to get to your next row. But again, it's so customizable. You're only doing one basic stitch throughout the whole thing, and then you just need to know how to sew. And that's not even like a huge deal either. Super easy to do. I swear, I swear, I swear. You just have to have some patience with yourself. That's it. Okay, so now we have a not so perfect row of single crochets, 25. All right, so in order to get to the next row, you're going to chain 1. Boom. Flip it over. And so hopefully you can see, I'm going to try to get it to focus. Normally when you single crochet, you go in through this hole right here and pull through. We're not going to do that. We're going to turn it this way. And so you see those little V's? You're going to go right through the first V, and then you're going to yarn over, pull that yarn through, and then yarn over again, pull it through the loops, the 2 loops on your hook. That's back loop single crochet. So again, turn it on its side here so you can see the tops of the V's. Go through the middle of the V here, yarn over, pull through. Now you're left with 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again, pull through both. So essentially you're doing a single crochet, right? But you're going through the back loop of the stitch. And that's what's going to create that line texture, okay? That's what's going to create the illusion of segments. However, I'll show you how to make the actual segments as well. So let me just finish this last row off, and then that is what you do until you get to the width of your rectangle that you would like to see. All right, so let me show you what it looks like. I know this is like the most boring part, so I'm sorry that you have to sit there and watch all of this. But I feel like, for me, I'm a visual learner as well as tactile. So I like to see it being done as well as doing it by myself. So once I see it, I like to do it along with the person. So that's what's going to create that texture. That's what's going to create the lines down the pumpkin, if you can see. So then you just chain 1 and you continually go through the back loop. All right. So let me show you the next step. Aha, she comes prepared. Okay, so this is the rectangle. All right. So this is 36 rows that we crocheted. All right. 36 rows. This is the top and the bottom, essentially. All right. So we stopped with the 36th row. It looks kind of like an accordion, folded paper, right? So then on our last row, we're going to chain 1. Okay. So we're going to fold it in half like a book. And then we're going to make sure the bottom edge and the top edge are together. That string needs to go away. No, go away. So don't get them tangled. Then we are going to slip stitch both of the ends together. So find your first holes in both of the rows, yarn over, okay, and then just pull through that loop. Okay, find that stitch. This is not through the back loop. This is just your essential slip stitch through the V's here. You're just lining up the stitches together. You can sew this part if you want to, but I prefer to slip stitch it because, you know, it's one less cutting of the thread. It's less work, I feel, for me at least. But if you don't like this slip stitch, if you don't like this, if it's too frustrating, you can whip stitch it together. Okay, I'm just going to do it really fast so that way we can move on. And then you're going to chain one, and then you're going to be done with your hook. And then again, you're going to create a long tail, and you're going to pull the tail through, and that's going to knot it at the end, okay? So now you have a cylinder. It's sewed on both sides. Now you have two ends, right? Two tails, I should say. You're going to use this tail to weave the bottom. You're going to use this tail to weave the top. Okay, so this is when you get your handy dandy needle out. I'm just going to cut this little frizz off. Boom. Okay. So this is going to be right side together, obviously, because we have this seam. So we're going to sew this, weave it together, and then we're going to flip it inside, or flip it right side out. So essentially, you're just weaving in and out at your needle on the edge here. So that way it cinches, right? Cinches together. Just like any other kind of sewing, when you want to create ruffles or cinching, little bag ties, that's what this is, weaving in and out. And you want to do that all the way around. And then you want to pull it tight. Okay, so we're at the end. So do you see how there's this hole there? Pull it super tight so that way it closes. And then what I like to do is I just like to go across from where I ended, pull through, and then just kind of weave it back and forth so that way it is really closed tight, so that you don't have a any kind of gap. And then I just knot it and then weave it through so the ends don't get don't come out. All right, then you can cut it off. We're done with that. Leave your needle out, but we're gonna flip it. So now it's right side out. And you can see what I mean about having a bottom, having that room for the bottom. And now we're going to stuff it. Okay, so basically take as much stuffing as you want, and I kind of pull it apart to make it a little fluffy. And then what I like to do, because my needles do not go through this fiber well, they're not really sharp needles, I make sure there's like a hole in the center because we're going to be weaving that needle in and out of the center, and I'll show you in a bit. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I just kind of put the stuffing around the sides of the pumpkin, leaving a hole in the center because I need to be able to get that needle through the center. So as long as there is space right there to get through, then we'll be golden. Okay, probably a little bit more here. But yeah, the polyfiber will form however you want it to form. It kind of just sticks there to the sides of the yarn there, the sides of the pumpkin. Then we're gonna take the tail, put the yarn through the needle, screw up the yarn, and then we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna weave through the very top there. I know this is cinematic stuff. What I like about these pumpkins too is I can sit and I can just zone out and make them. I can sit there and watch my Friends TV show, that is. And I can zone out because it's just the same stitch over and over. I don't really need to pay too much attention. If it's an imperfection that you have in your pumpkin, the better, because again, pumpkins aren't perfect. They're just like people. They come in all different shapes, all different sizes, and we all love a unique pumpkin. So don't be afraid if you made a mistake. Don't be upset if something didn't turn out completely perfect. I like imperfect pumpkins. It's just, you know, you're never going to find a perfect pumpkin in nature. And if you do, I'd like to see it. Okay, so then before I cinch it all the way tight, I get my finger in there. I know this doesn't look the best, but I get my finger in there to make sure there is space from the fiber fill to where I can insert the cinnamon stick and my needle. So then we're going to take our cinnamon stick, and mine are long. I don't know how we're going to, you know, the different varieties of cinnamon sticks. I don't know the different lengths, but I'm just going to stick it in and see where I want the top to stick out. Give yourself some room because we're cinching it together, squishing it down a little bit, so more of your stick's going to show. So give yourself some leeway, and then we're going to just stick the bottom that we broke off into the center there. Do you see how nicely it went in without having to struggle? Love that. Okay, so then we're going to pull that yarn tight. Now, this is the fun part. This is where it's going to get a little frustrating if you haven't done this before, because we're going to want to cinch together the top and the bottom, as well as keep the cinnamon stick in place. Now, you can use hot glue and insert it, and then it'll be fine. It won't really stick around anywhere, or it won't slip out. However, I don't like really doing that just because like it's an extra step that I don't need to do if I don't have to. So if I can make it stay, I'm gonna. So the cinch ended on the bottom. Let's stick this needle through the top part, and we're going to make sure that needle is coming out. Ooh, where did it go? Through the center. Do you see it? Through the center of the bottom there. Okay, and we're gonna pull through and pull it tight. So then it gives us that little indentation. Now, do you see how it can kind of slip? We're gonna do that a couple times. So insert from the bottom up through the top there and pull on it again. And it should stay a little bit more. Now, then you can wrap your string around or your yarn around the cinnamon stick a couple times and insert it again. This will cover up any gappage, and it will also hold the stick in a little bit more. And again, insert it from the other side through the center and pull tight. Okay, so essentially you can stop there, or if you want to make the segment, I'll show you how to do that right now. So this is a fully done pumpkin. You can tie a knot at the end and be done. However, if you want to make the segments here, super easy. All you do is take the string, pull it out to the side, up and in through the center and down to the bottom. So it creates tension on the side there. See how pull? And then now move that string to the opposite side, pull it up and over into the center and down to the bottom. Pull it taut. Okay, so you have a couple more segments. Move it over to the center of the other side. And you're gonna keep doing the same thing until you have as many segments as you want, or you run out of yarn. But just remember, the tighter that you pull, the more the center is going to come in, so you might be losing some of your stick stability. So again, if you're worried about the stick coming out, hot glue it and then wait to do the rest of the steps. That's what I wanted to say, steps. So it's going to create those segments, and you just keep going until you're done with it. And I'm going to run out of yarn if I keep doing that. So what I'm going to do is just do a knot here and then weave in the ends and call it done. Knot. And then this is how I weave. I do about 3 little weaves here through the stitches, and then it's not going to come out. Do however many you're comfortable with. All right, and then just cut the bottom tail. So that's why I say leave longer than you think tails, because I'm not really sure how much length you're going to need in order to make those segments. But as you can see, it looks like a pumpkin, right? And then this little center, the wrap that we did with the yarn around, it'll cover any of the gaps. And now you can tie like a little burlap bow, you can tie a hemp ribbon bow, whatever you want around the cinnamon stick as well. And you can, jazz it up a bit, make it a little bit more rustic. You can make it a little bit more glam. Like with the velvet pumpkins, I feel like these are a little bit more glam, a little bit more fancier. I love the way that they feel. And then also, if you wanted to do the slip stitch, it's the same idea, same rectangle. However, instead of doing a single crochet, you're just slip stitching. So I'll show you. This is how it's gonna look. It looks like knit, right? Isn't that so cute? And then you just take it, same idea, where you insert the hook through the top of the V, yarn over, pull through, But instead of yarn overing again, you're just going to take that loop, pull it through the other one, insert it through the back loop, yarn over, pull through the other loop. And then you're going to create this like accordion knit-like fabric to where you're going to give your pumpkin another type of look, another type of texture, and it's going to look more like knit than crochet because of the way the V's go down. But see how much more stretchier it is and how much fun it looks in the texture. So that's essentially it, guys. You can do a, this one's a half double crochet. You can just experiment with the different stitches. You can do through both loops, through just the back loops, however you want to do it. It is all up to you. That's why I say it's so much fun. It's so customizable that, you know, you can essentially make whatever kind of pumpkin. You can make a gigantic pumpkin. You can make a teeny weeny pumpkin. It just is up to you and your imagination. All you're doing is crocheting a rectangle and sewing in the sides. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully you could see everything. Hopefully it made sense. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. And I will get back to you as fast as I can. I hope you make these. If you do make these, please let me know. Follow me on Instagram so you can tag me in your pictures after you make them. And as always, everything's going to be linked in the description box. So my Instagram and all of the supplies you'll need, as well as the pattern. So don't forget to like, share, hit the notification bell, and subscribe on your way out of the video. That way and then hit the notification bell. Yeah. That way you'll never miss an upload from me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it was fun for you as it was for me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.